welcome back to the Trotsky region, where, once again, we shall be endeavouring to get to the bottom of another little mystery. We all know 15th century Bohemia is a brutal place. The abundance of outlaws makes roaming the roads a real risk, and everyday life is dominated by a strict feudal social structure. The average peasant lives at the whim of their lord. One's very life was beholden to the ruling class. As such, morality could easily follow suit, bringing us nicely to the topic of today's video. Out by Vidlak Pond, to the west of Tachov, we can meet a gamekeeper named Vostatek. Vostatek here harbours a secret so dark, it explains a lot about his apparent drinking problem. Unfortunately for him, the time has come for that secret to see the light of day. So get yourselves nice and cozy, grab yourselves a brew, maybe some snacks, as we explore Vostatek's dark secret. The best place to start would be to meet the man. The first time we arrive at Vostatek's home, along the road from Tachov to Vidlak Pond, we will learn from the gamekeeper's wife that he's missing.
What happened? You look worried.
My husband Vostatek left to go hunting and hasn't come back. I'm worried that something happened to him. He's von Burgo's lead huntsman, and the forest is full of poachers these days.
Maybe he just got caught up somewhere.
Not a chance. We're invited to young Lord Semin's wedding. He wouldn't dare miss that by wandering around the woods for so long. What would Lord Semin think if we didn't show up? It would be a disgrace. He sometimes loses track of time out in the woods, but I've got a really bad feeling about it this time. One time, Vostatek didn't come home for 4 days after his horse broke its leg in the woods. I had a feeling right away that something bad had happened. And I have that same feeling now. Do you reckon you could help me?
So we're pretty quickly roped into helping track down Otto von Bergov's lead huntsman, which is a distinguished title for one presently lost somewhere in the woods.
Does that happen often? That he gets lost in the woods?
He disappears for a while from time to time when he gets orders from Lord von Bergo. And besides that, he drinks a bit sometimes. Then everything takes him longer. His job isn't easy, so I understand when he does, and I don't get upset with him.
Now, the term drink a bit is only really notable when somebody's a full-blown alcoholic, so we can gather that Vostatek is a bit of a heavy drinker. Furthermore, we also learn his disappearances into the woods tend to line up with when he has orders from Lord von Bergov, which shouldn't be surprising if he's the lead huntsman. Nevertheless, bookmark that detail and save it for later. As a bit of an insight to the family dynamic, Vostatek's son, Vitek, is less than pleased that somebody would bother to look for him.
Ma talked you into it, didn't she? I'd be willing to bet he just got wasted as usual. He's nothing but a drunkard. It's no secret. The only thing he can manage on his own is to puke and piss all over himself. Then either Ma or me has to clean it up.
That being said, with a bit of convincing, he'll tell us where to look regardless of whether or not he believes his father is worth the aid. As it turns out, he's investigating the potential presence of wolves near Vidlak Pond. Anyway, Vitek's dialogue confirms that Vostatek doesn't just drink a bit, he's a full-on drunk. So now we know where to look to find the drunk. Sure enough, we'll find him cornered by wolves. He's up a tree, and the wolves are surrounding it. So, after a brief canine confrontation, we can finally make the acquaintance of the man of the hour, whose descent from the tree was anything but gracious.
You alright?
I fucked up my bloody ankle, damn it! Thank God you were passing by. Otherwise they'd have eaten me for sure. I'm Vostatek, Huntsman.
Your wife sent me.
My dear Zlata. Thank God for her. What's your name?
Henry.
And thanks to you as well, Henry. You've got to... that hurts. You've got to carry me. Christ in heaven.
I heard you're a bit of a drinker. I see that's true.
Not as much as I'd like to be. At least then it wouldn't hurt so much.
Now we have to carry the fellow back to his camp. He offers us a refreshing beverage for the road. That was a mistake. Nevertheless, it confirms he's into his heavy alcohol consumption. Furthermore, as we go, he gives us directions demonstrating, despite his inebriated state, he knows these woods like the back of his hand.
Don't you dare puke on me.
Not that I'm convinced he can presently see the back of his hand.
No! Don't do it!
Bloody nasty. I nearly painted your back.
The main thing to acknowledge here is Vostatek is established as something of a comic relief character. He likes a succulent pint and is hard to take seriously on account of the fact that he's on the floor and utterly bladdered. Nevertheless, he is the local gamekeeper, as such we have the opportunity to help him out a few times. Firstly, we're sent to retrieve his horse from some poachers who have been wreaking havoc in the area for some time. Seeing off the poachers in the process, a task he of course was going to do himself before he got understandably distracted by booze. Naturally, this concludes both our rescue and initial introduction to Vostatek.
Thanks, Harold.
You're welcome. And my name's Henry.
Whatever. What did you do with those horse sons?
They're dead. Down to the last one.
Serves them right. You're one hell of a fighter. You're a real tough fella. I mean, you stink, and your shoulders are pointy. But a tough fella nonetheless.
So with that, Vostatek is reunited with his family. He seems to be a cheerful guy even in his family's company. His son clearly resents him for his drinking problem, but he doesn't strike me as the miserable drunk that drinks to make everybody else miserable too. He and his wife seem to share a mutual love, which isn't even a given today, so as you can imagine it would have been less the case in medieval times. So Vostatek is portrayed as a harmless drinker, somebody who overindulges in alcohol often, but means well. Therefore, we're comfortable accepting him as merely comic relief. Now that we understand who Vostatek is, Otto von Bergov's binge-drinking huntsman, we can begin unraveling his secret. There are discoveries that can be made in the woodland surrounding Vostatek's house that might suggest being a huntsman isn't his only vocation. There are many booze stashes that are no doubt the property of Vostatek, and all of them are situated nearby to the same brand of alarming find. For we can stumble upon many a grave, some of which will require digging up.
Who buried the poor fella here?
And for some, the hard bit will be done for us, either by the elements, wolves, maybe even bandits or grave robbers.
The wolves must have dug him up.
The corpses are in various states of decay, implying whoever's been hiding corpses here has been at it for quite some time.
He's been lying here a long time.
But none are quite as disturbing as this unmarked grave. In this nondescript clearing, the grave is not tricky to find. It's actually kind of marked, despite the game labelling it as unmarked. That cross is just there for fun apparently. Anyway, upon digging up the grave, what can be seen within is genuinely harrowing.
Sweet Virgin Mary. This must have been a pregnant woman.
The skeletal remains of a woman, whom at the time of death was pregnant with twins, with one of them passing through her pelvis. She may even have been giving birth at the time of death. Something or someone cut 3 lives short for the price of 1. But it does seem whoever buried this woman here had at least some kind of heart. Her grave is marked. If you were to casually murder somebody and dispose of the body, marking where you disposed of the body is not a great idea. This tells us that whoever put this poor woman here has a conscience. As for how this woman died, there could be a million causes of death, it's unclear at this point, but it's noteworthy that half her skull is missing. For now, however, it's merely a standalone alarming discovery. It just happens to be surrounded by other discoveries that are also alarming. It's also very interesting that every single one of these graves is a short walk from a booze stash in an alcoholic gamekeeper's woods. A huntsman, we know factually, combines his outings with his boozing and comes home drunk. There are many bandits and poachers in this woodland, so as things stand, there's every chance Vostatek is stumbling upon the remains of people they've killed and is simply laying them to rest. There's also an abundance of wolf activity, and these wolves are not shy around people. If we get too close, they'll try and have us for dinner, just like we found Vostatek about to be eaten by them earlier. There are plausible explanations that de-escalate this, so let's debunk them. We can eliminate bandits and other criminals on account of the fact the corpses that can be looted still have their valuables. You'd have thought a bandit would jump at the opportunity of free money, so you wouldn't necessarily expect a bandit's victim to still have money on their corpse. As for poachers, I'd imagine they'd be less likely, full stop, to escalate to murdering people, but I suppose poaching is a capital offence. Considering being caught could mean death, there's every chance they would kill out of self-preservation in the event they are witnessed, but again I have a hard time believing somebody desperate enough to poach, in a time where such a crime could see you executed, would pass up on a successfully silenced witness's money. Whoever killed these people was respectful of their belongings, and whoever buried them felt the same way. Peripheral evidence for the idea that they may be the same person. As for the consistently nearby booze stashes, there's no doubt as to whose those are. But if how we can make this conclusion needs clarifying, Vostatek is a drunken huntsman whose family don't necessarily approve of his drinking problem. His wife understands, but his son doesn't, and is rather belligerent in expressing this. The guy continuously gets sloshed on his many excursions, and can barely do anything without bringing up booze.
Take me to the ale house instead. What? I said fuck it. Let's go for a drink. Yeah! Take me to Tachov. They've got the best ale.
Furthermore, he knows the woods surrounding his home to the level of precision you would expect from a huntsman, so it stands to reason he's going to store much of his booze somewhere only he can find, so his understandably frustrated son cannot force him to stay sober by depriving him of his precious drink. So it doesn't take much thinking to come to the conclusion the booze is absolutely his. Even I'm giving it too much thought for the sake of occasion. Anyway, this means these stashes place Vostatek in the location of these graves, at least at one point or another, and if he's comfortable to hide his alcohol there, he's more likely to stash other secrets in a similar spot should he have any. And the stash's proximity to the graves is way too consistent to be coincidental. So, with that in mind, we can come to the conclusion Vostatek absolutely had something to do with these deaths. As for what that something is, well, under very particular circumstances, he'll actually sit us down and tell us that himself. So if you'd humour me, I will now proceed to talk about how to trigger this conversation. Fortunately, it's more long-winded to do than explain. The criteria is quite straightforward. First, we need to complete the quest Lackey, which is how we meet the man. If we don't find him, I'm led to believe he'll die, and that's that. Since we've already done that, the second step is to help him address the poacher issue in the area. The task is titled Birds of Prey, and we're sent to track down a series of poachers illegally hunting in the woods. Our task from there is to haul these poachers off to the bailiff and hang them from a tree. You basically complete that straightforward process a few times until the quest ultimately concludes, so be ruthless in your persecution of poachers and job's a good one. The next criteria we must meet is to keep Vostatek sober at the Samin wedding. Now, trying to keep an alcoholic sober when there's a genuine reason to drink, such as a function like this, does sound hard. The trickiest part, however, is finding where precisely Vostatek is here. He's not wearing his classic cap, so I suppose he really could be anyone. Even this cook, maybe he's a master of disguise. Oh, never mind, here he is.
Henry! How are you, pal?
I see you didn't waste any time, Gamekeeper.
I know! For Christ's sake, what have I done? What's my wife gonna say? I really want to stay away from the booze, but I can't do it alone. I know! Supposing you keep an eye on me, Henry.
What, mind you?
It's easy. Just don't let me drink.
I'd say it's a little late for that, isn't it?
All right. So just don't let me end up under the table. If you see me with a drink in my hand, stop me from drinking it, Henry. Do you understand?
So the idea to keep him sober is actually his. What that entails is if we see him drinking, we are to confiscate his alcoholic beverage and remind him to chill out. The day-night cycle is interrupted by the wedding. Instead, time shifts in jumps. It's pretty obvious when this happens. As we partake in the festivities, the screen will go black and we'll get a flash of text to let us know the time jump is happening. Every time this happens, the guests will change position. So with every time jump, we'll need to find Vostatek and confiscate the demon drink. As you can imagine, being strict with him is probably the best policy. And the only way to know if you succeeded is to wait until after the ceremony. After which point he'll let you know he's got it handled from here. Famous last words from any addict of anything ever. But apparently if he's thanking you for his sobriety, you're sweet. At which point he'll invite you over to his cabin for us to do at our leisure at a later date. And provided you've done all the helping you can do, this is the moment of truth. When we pop by next, he'll ask us to stop by sometime for a conversation, which of course we can do right away. And this is the conversation in question.
Henry, tell me something. How do you cope? When I asked you to kill those poachers, you went and did it without any remorse.
Murder is a sin. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes you don't have a choice.
Aye, you're bloody right about that.
Why'd you ask?
Being von Burgau's huntsman isn't my only job. From time to time, he gives me a different task.
What do you mean by that?
The first time was 2 winters ago. The Chamberlain summoned me one night. Said he needed something taken care of. The lass couldn't have been older than 15. A servant at the castle. I saw young Sir Jan being dragged away from her.
Jan?
Von Burgau's son. He's at Sbarrow now. So you couldn't have met him. I don't know what they told her, but she rode behind me obediently. I brought her deep into the woods, and then, when you shoot a deer, and it doesn't make a sound, you know you did a good job. It didn't suffer, you know? But this lass shrieked like a banshee.
You killed her?
Was I supposed to refuse an order from my lord?
Who was this girl?
I don't know. I reckon I saw her a few times at the castle. A maid, I suppose. She had hair like straw and blue eyes. I keep seeing her in my dreams.
Why did von Burgov have her killed?
When I came over to her, as she was laying on the ground, screaming, to put her out of her misery, that's when I saw it. She was with child. I reckon she was carrying Jan's bastard, and von Burgau was against it.
So that wasn't the only time you had to do something like that?
It wasn't. Usually they just give me a body to get rid of in the woods. The wolves take care of it. But this was different. It haunts my dreams. The only time I forget about it is when I'm drunk senseless. I told Zlata, but not Vitek. The lad is young. He shouldn't have to worry about things like that.
So that confirms that Vostatek is the one who disposed of those bodies in the woods, even killing a few personae, a task he carried out on behalf of Otto von Burgov. If you discover the remains in the woods after hearing this story, Henry will mention the probability that Vostatek was the one that put them there, confirming that this was the pregnant woman from his story, the one carrying Jan's bastard, or bastards. The problem Otto von Burgov made go away, and Vostatek was the tool, following the orders of his lord against his own morals and values, a job he's carried out a good few times since. It is truly no wonder he drinks. He is cursed with the weight of guilt for being unable to refuse his lord. The power imbalance of feudalism forced him into a moral compromise, and now he's tormented by his servitude. He knows he's done evil, and he'll never formally be punished for it, so instead he punishes himself, and the booze is his escape. This entirely reworks his comedic presence into a tragic facade. He had no choice but to sacrifice his own morals for his survival and the survival of his family. In doing so, he became not only a victim of his own circumstances, but a monster. The casualty of a society built to suit innate betters. And the ironic part is he made this decision to protect himself and protect his family. And now that decision is eating him from the inside out and destroying his family. The guilt turned him into a drunk. The drunkenness turned his son against him. And to not burden his son with the truth denies his own flesh and blood's understanding. You can't help but pity the man. But with that, I bring this video to its conclusion. I thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends, all that wonderful stuff. It would be massively appreciated. And be sure to let me know of any other Kingdom Come Deliverance, either 1 or 2 topics you would like to see covered in future additions to this playlist. If you'd like to join our Discord server, feel free to follow the QR code that is on screen now. You would be more than welcome. Anyone who listens to any length of my waffling is. But with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. Until next time, please take care and goodbye.